Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, we continue. We are Perek Yud Gimel, Pasuk Vav. Tzedaka titzor tam darech. The tzedaka protects the tam, the tam's path, his way. Verishat esalev chatat, and rishut, wickedness, undermines, yes, chatat, the sinner, the chote. Says the Gaon, the tam, as we know, and we've identified him many times, is the simple-minded guy, the one that doesn't know, that doesn't see the bad, that doesn't know how to identify the bad, and does what he's told. He does he follows the lay of the lay of the law. That's how we say.
The lay of the land.
The lay of the land. Yeah. And that's the tam. Now, says the Gaon, because the tam is not harif, and because the tam does not identify the bad, he can be making mistakes very, very easily, because he doesn't see the ra. So karov me'od is very close to failure. Yeah. When you don't know, when you cannot identify bad, you cannot protect yourself from it. Yes, you need to know the bad in order to protect yourself and know what not to do. Yes, the terrorists, Hamas, and all these people. Why they're so complicated to deal with them? Because you cannot identify them. When you can identify an army, you can identify. So you go to war with an army. When you don't know who your enemy is, it's very, very difficult to fight it. And that is the flaw of the tam. With Pasuk Vav. We just started. So because the tam does not have this sensitivity, this awareness, this shrewdness, he is subject to failure. Says Shlomo HaMelech, tzedakah titzor tam darech. The tzedakah that the tam does is a source of protection to the tam. Meaning, even though the tam, yes, is subject to failure because of his naiveness, but his tzedakah is a shield of protection for him. Okay? So the tzedakah plays the role of a shield of protection from what? From the naiveness, from the danger that the naiveness of the tam creates. So the tzedakah, lechaora can do two things, or assure that the tam doesn't get close to the ra, and by and if so fail, or it pushes away the ra from the tam. Yes.
Can we go back on that for 1 second? The tzedakah.
Yes.
The tzedakah.
The tzedakah, if the tzedakah, as the way as Shlomo HaMelech presents it, protects the tam, and we know that the tam, right, is subject to failure because of his unawareness of the Ra, because of his naiveness, right? So the tzedakah that comes and protects the tam, he will protect him in two ways, two possible ways. One way is to make sure that the tam doesn't get close to the Ra and therefore gets hurt. That's one. And number two, pushes away the Ra from the tam. This is the level, the shield of protection that the tam benefits from. Now, of tzedakah, right? That's how it applies on the tam. Good. Verishat esallef hatat, right? And the wickedness undermines the sinner, the chote, the hatat. So he says it's like kikashalta be'avonecha. When the risha, the wickedness, the rishut, undermines the sinner, the chote. That means the rishut, the maaseh resha, the action of Ra, undermines the chote, works against the one that does the action, right? So the chote makes a bad action, and that bad action undermines the chote itself, himself. So he's actually, right, hurting himself with his own action.
Isn't that obvious?
Huh?
Well, isn't that obvious? He's going to hurt himself with his own actions.
No, we would think that the outcome of that specific action of the rishut will hurt him. Here we're saying something else. Whereas it's the action itself, not the outcome of the action. The action itself sets the chote, right? Undermines the chote himself, and his next behavior. You throw a cup, the cup breaks. That's the outcome of the action. Yes, but the cup is not broken until it's broken, right? So the outcome of throwing the cup is that the cup gets broken. Here we're saying by throwing the cup, you're going to throw something else.
Through a metal plate that didn't break, but the act of throwing it.
That's right.
Got it.
Right. So, for example, a person gets angry. Yes. So his anger may damage your relationship, but the fact that he got angry leads to more anger. That has nothing to do with the outcome of that behavior that he had when he was angry. So Beshoresh, in essence, the action itself undermines the person for more of these actions, for more of the rishon, for more of the chatat. And he says, this is the definition, that's the hidush of avera goreret avera. Yes? Or avera leads to another avera. Yes? You would think, when you learn the pasuk of avera goreret avera, you could say, well, I do something, I do avera, yes? That avera, okay, is now a new opportunity to do another avera. But he says, no, it's not that the outcome prepares the person for another avera. The essence, the action itself, not the outcome of the action, the action itself is what yields another avera. And he says, this is what Risha, what's it Risha? The Risha, the Risha, the wicked act that he did in the beginning. He tesalefoto. That action is what leads, right, to undermine him and makes him do another avera, another hatat. That's one hidush. The other hidush, he says the following. He brings a pasuk in Yeshaya. The pasuk in Yeshaya says like this. Hoy Moshche Ha'avon. Hoy Moshche Ha'avon. Hoy, to those that are Moshche Avon, that they pull, yes, they carry the avonot, behavle hashav, with cords that are completely shav, that are meaningless, that are empty. V'cha'avot ha'agala hata'a, and that are pulling the ropes, right, of the chariot of avot, of iniquity. So there's two Ovrei Avera here. There's two sinners. You have the one that pulls with cords, and then you have the one that pull the chariot with ropes, right? So or you pull with the cord, the actual, right, the avon itself. It's like like you're pulling an animal, and the other one is pulling with ropes a chariot, right? So what carries more, the animal or the chariot? The chariot. Nachon? So says that's Yeshaya. Says the Gaon, says you have two type of sinners. You have a sinner that does averot lo ta'aseh. Don't eat non-kosher, he eats non-kosher. Don't eat on Yom Kippur, he eats on Yom Kippur. Yes? Don't light fire on Shabbat, he doesn't. As we've learned in the past, the Gaon says those that do lo ta'aseh are less than the other type of sinners, which is the ones that don't do the aseh, that don't do proactive mitzvot. Yes? So you have two types of sinner. You have the sinner that is called a chote, right? You have the sinner that doesn't do mitzvot aseh, and that defines it. He doesn't put tefillin. Okay? He doesn't put tefillin. Zerisha. He doesn't eat matzah on Pesach. Zerisha. But he doesn't do averot. He doesn't do lo ta'aseh. He's not going to eat basar bechalav. He's not going to eat chametz on Pesach, but he doesn't eat the matzah. And the other chote, the other sinner, is the one that does the lo ta'aseh. He says, what's the difference between the tzaddikim and the ovrei averot that don't do the aseh? He says that the people laziness and complacent,
Complacency.
huh?
Complacency.
Voilà. People complacency, yes, make them not do mitzvot, aseh. And they fall in the category of the Risha. The tzaddik, what makes the difference between them and the tzaddikim is that the tzaddikim are proactively looking to do mitzvot aseh. They are always looking to do more mitzvot. This is the fine difference, which is a major difference between the tzaddik and the rasha. In that type of rasha, is that the one will do mitzvot when it comes to him, but if it doesn't come, he doesn't do. And the other one, he looks to do. He's always on the go to do more mitzvot. These are in Yeshaya, the Ke'avot ha'agala, these are the carriers of the agalot, of the chariot, because they carry a lot of mitzvot aseh that they don't do. But when it comes to averot, lo ta'aseh, these are few. So says the Gaon here, when we say Zezeu rishat esalef hatat, we're not talking about the over avera of lo ta'aseh. Like you said, Brian, that's pashut. Ma avera goreret mitzvah. I know. Yes, you do an avera, it leads to another avera. You do bad, it leads to bad. Ma, I need Shlomo Melech to come and tell me. Says the Gaon, Yachon, you're right. But why we need Shlomo Melech is to tell us that when you don't do a aseh, you're going to end up doing a lot of aseh. That's the hidush. When you're lazy to do a aseh, it will lead you to do lot of aseh. That's the hidush. So from this pasuk, Shlomo HaMelech, the Gaon learns two hidushim. The first hidush is the avera goreret avera is not from the outcome of the action, but from the inception of the action itself, from the action itself, right? That's so avera goreret avera. Hidush number one. Hidush number two is when you are lazy to do a mitzvah, you are going to end up doing an avera. Beseder on that?
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, don't be so excited. No. Pasuk Zayin. Pasuk Zayin. לא, זה בסדר. It's pretty straightforward. יש מתעשר ואין קול. You have the one that like acts like he's rich, and קול, he has nothing. מתרושש, and you have the one that looks like he's poor, והון רב, and he has it all. He's very wealthy. Says the Gaon, Shlomo Melech, he's talking about two types of people which essentially use the same behavior in different situations. Yeah, it's a trait of ga'ava versus anava, ego versus humility. It's the same thing, it's just polar opposite of the same trait. So says Shlomo Melech, the egocentric, yes, will show off what he doesn't have. Yeah, he will show you the wealth that he pretends he has when behemet he has nothing. And then you have the anav. The anav is the one that actually has a lot, but behaves through his anava in a way that he doesn't have. The same thing, says the Gaon, applies to the Torah. You have people that pretend they are Talmidei Chachamim, they act like Talmidei Chachamim, they demand kavod like Talmidei Chachamim. Ve'en kol. Be'emet, they have nothing, they're empty. And then you have those who are nichbim el hakelim. He makes himself as if he doesn't know. ויש לו הון, כן? והון רב. Hon Rav, he has a lot of hon, he has a lot of wealth. And we know what, if you recall, that what is hon? Hon זה ה' 5 חומשי תורה, ו' 6 סדרי משנה, and Nun 50 בינה, שערי בינה. This pasuk basically is just coming, is coming to address the choice an individual has to make in life. If you see this pasuk, it's black and white, it's binary, right? Or you're like this, or you're like that. Or you belong to the Ga'ava, or you belong to the Anava. That's the punchline of that pasuk.
Is he not saying for us to go back and forth in different situations when necessary?
No.
No way the message?
There's no. Yesh, you have like this, and you have the mitroshesh. When he says yesh, there are you have a guy that's like this, you have the guy that's like that. Now, let me just clarify. We're talking about the person's behavior, not the way he pretends to be because of an outside reason, but the way he lives his life. Sometimes you have to look presentable, you have to look good, right? So you're going to a meeting, that's called achizat enayim. That's fine. That you know what you're doing. That doesn't make you a bal gava. That doesn't make you a anav. But the way you behave, I mean, I think things are pretty clear. It's a pretty straightforward pasuk. Pasuk chet. Kofer nefesh ish oshro. The ransom of a man's life is his wealth. The rash and the poor, lo shama ge'ara, never heard a reproof. Go'er. The guy says something nifla me'od. He brings Shlomo HaMelech in Kohelet. עושר שמור לבעליו לרעתו. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives wealth to a man לרעתו, which is not good for him. It's for his bad. Meaning not every abundance of wealth is a source of beracha. Says the Gaon, דבר נפלא. He says, when the osher is not a beracha, the wealth will be used as a pidyon. The wealth will be used as a ransom, as a kofer. You know, kofer like a kapara. How does that translate itself? Lo alenu. A kapara can be, the osher is given, but there's no bracha. So it will be used what? To pay medical bills, to resolve a lawsuit, to pay off a problem, Yes. It's a mean that will be used to take a problem away or try to take a problem away. Says the Gaon, when this money goes for this purpose, there's no bracha in that money. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it so that you can be poter et atzmecha, you can be kofer, you know, nefesh, you can redeem, you can pay the ransom. So in a way, it is a chesed, yes, but there's no bracha in the money. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does the chesed with the person so that he can get himself out of the problem. But this is not the bracha of kesef that the Torah talks about when it talks about the bracha in Osher. Continues the Gaon and says, that means that why does the HaKadosh Baruch Hu send, right, this money to redeem himself? Is because he's in a problem. That means he has Isurim, because the problem are Isurim. So when a person goes through Isurim, and why does he go through Isurim? Usually because of his behavior. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be merahem on the person when he wants that person close to him by giving him a way to redeem himself from the Isurim by getting away with this, by solving this Isurim with money. However, the Rash, lo shama ge'ara. The poor doesn't have money. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu will not send the poor Yisurim that needs money for him to redeem himself. But not only that, that's not what Shlomo Amelech. Shlomo Amelech says, lo shama ge'ara. He doesn't hear a reproof. Meaning even a ge'ara from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't hear. He lives a life of shaket and shalva. He lives a peaceful life. But everybody knows that this is not a klal, right? You have a lot of people that lo alenu are poor, and they have isurim that needs money to redeem themselves. Yes. The answer to that is that Lemase Akadosh Baruch Hu will create situations for that poor to get the money from someone else, from Ashir. So he is going to resolve his problem, but not with money that has been given to him, just so that he can be mizakeh someone else to do the mitzvah of tzedakah. But when the money, and this is that, when the money is given to a person, it could be or beracha, or it could be not beracha. And the way to know is, how is that money spent? Is that money spent in ransom and redeeming? And that means in that money, the person has to see that money as a sign of chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Hashem is telling the person, hey, I sent Isurim because of actions that were wrong. So make sure you change your actions so that the Isurim can go. The Isurim will go, then you don't need to spend that money for that, meaning that money will go. And now you can benefit from money with Beracha.
Can a person change the destined or defined outcome?
If the person does, yes. If the person
with the money,
with the money, you mean?
With the money, specifically, not through his actions. Can he?
That's
tzedakah.
Yes, yes. For a few reasons, or through his tzedakah, like we learned earlier, or through the pidyon.
We learned that tzedakah will save him from. Are those the isurim, the isurim which were destined?
Yes, that not
the
from
reason,
yes.
The reason he got this money was so he could pay for the isurim, to go away. Can he use the money and change that outcome?
With tzedakah, yes. Because the tzedakah is a shield of protection, like we said. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet, right? That's what we learned.
Right.
So if tatzil mimavet, vaday she'yola latzil meisurim. As long as it's on the right way, yeah, kamuvan, yes.
Right, fine.
Yes.
The simple, common answer that we're leading towards is that tzedakah is the answer. Proper tzedakah is going to be the answer for everybody to save themselves. Combined with Torah.
But kamuvan, no, it's not a cop out. It's not like, here, let me do whatever I want and write a check of tzedakah. That doesn't work.
We learned that before.
Yes.
Rabbi, what's the right way? You mentioned the right way. As you said, as long as he's in the right way, tzedakah tatzil mimavet.
No, when the person does the tzedakah the right way, meaning he doesn't, like we said, he doesn't just write a check, yes, to feel good and continue and do his averot, or he doesn't just give stam. He takes tzedakah the serious way, and he does it the serious way, and he understands the place of tzedakah in his behavior and in his life.
Toda rabba.
Here, Shlomo HaMelech is bringing a difference between the poor and the rich. Yes? Between the poor that seems to have a life with less headache, and the rich that doesn't have beracha of his wealth, and that uses that money, right, to solve isurim issues. In parallel to that, the Gaon wants to say, Kofer Nefesh says, the tzaddikim, everybody after 120 has to go through Gehinam and cleanse himself and to go to Olam Haba. So what's the Kofer? What's the pidyon? What's the pidyon to make it so that the Gehinam lo sholet, right, doesn't afflict pain on the tzaddik? It's the mitzvot that he does, right? So that osher, that those mitzvot that he does, will come and be the pidyon of the pain of Gehinam after 120. Just like the money is a pidyon to the nisayon that the asher is facing. But the poor, the rash, he says, Mi shayu alav dikduke aniyut. The people that felt aniyut, dikduk, yes, like nuances of aniyut, feelings of aniyut. He says these people, people that go through those moments or those experiences in their life, lo ishma ge'ara klal. Not only that he doesn't go to Gehinam, but he's not reprimanded, he's not reproved when he goes in front of Beit Din Shel Ma'ala. Now, it's almost, saying everybody should pray to become an ani. No, ani. Yes. But here we're not talking about ani. We're talking about the rash. It's the people that sense and feel the oni, the poverty. Okay, that can feel the poverty of the poor, and that's also the poverty of Torah. Not only right the poverty of money, right? Somebody that lives his life and understand how poor he is, bechokma, how poor he is b'mitzvot, how poor he is, and b'mitzvot, b'da'at, and only the aniyut da'at. When a person feels and lives that aniyut, that tsar, that pain, that heaviness that the person is carrying is coming to protect him from the way of Gehinam and from being reproved when he's standing in front of Bedin Shel Ma'ala. Why? Because the chisaron, you lived with it. What is Gehinam? Gehinam is coming, right, to address the chisaron, to address the emptiness, the void of what was supposed to be done, or what was created through actions. But when a person carries the void day in, day out, when he recognizes the emptiness and he feels it, so he paid his share of Gehinam already. He went through it. So there's no Gehinam for that guy. Yes.
Is it a concept that somebody can accomplish by their acts of tzedakah?
What do you mean?
Feeling the pain of the recipient?
But that also
consistently.
That also. But when a person carries the aniyut of the other, I don't want to go into details, but some people that were once facing tremendous challenges of parnasa, right, and had to decide whether to take the train or to buy coffee, yeah, and then later on made it in life. These people, they cannot be insensitive to people that don't have food to eat. And they devote their life and they devote their effort and they do tzedakah, and their aspiration is to what? To make sure people can eat. Now, that is living the anyut of the other. That is called being rash. That is carrying the anyut. That feeling, and the same thing, but Torah and that in the Torah. Those people, says the Gaon, Shlomo HaMelech tells us, right? Lo yishma ge'ara klal, will not be reproved, velo yelech derech ha'gehinam, and will not go in the path of Gehinam. I'm thinking what the Gemara is. Yeah. Okay, I'm here. We're moving. 1 second. Let me see something. No, 1 second. It's the headache part of Chay's learning. Hold on. Any question in the meantime?
So, Rabbi, just to confirm, it's not necessarily your economics that you have in your personal life, it's how much you feel it as well and feel it for others.
נכון, נכון. The Gemara says like this, תנו רבנן, דף מ"א עמוד ב' הנה עירובין. 3 דברים מעבירים את האדם על דעתו ועל דעת קונו. 3 things cause a person to act against himself, his own will, and the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. נוחים, the goyim, רוח רעה, bad spirit, and דקדוקי עניות. דקדוקי עניות in the Gemara is extreme poverty. ושלושה אין רואים פני גיהינם, and 3 do not see the face of גיהינם. ואלו הן דקדוקי עניות, whoever, right, will suffer from depth of extreme poverty, חולה מעיים, the one that have intestinal sicknesses, והרשות. By Malvim, the one that's rent, that you know, they lent money and they're being oppressed by the creditor. They don't see Gehinam. They don't see Gehinam.
What was the second one? Goyim. Third one was extreme.
Ruach Ra'ah. Ruach Ra'ah. So that's the Gemara that the Gaon bases himself on. And צריך להגדיר, זה לא, זה like, it's not just feeling of poverty, it's really carrying the pain, the heaviness.
It's a very hard concept. Not.
That's why not everybody doesn't is safe from those of Gehinam. Nachon.
You be as sincere as you can possibly be with your act of tzedakah, but it's not.
But it's not. No. It's not. Yeah, no.
Not it. You're
it's
not.
Not about it. At this point, it's not about the tzedakah. It's about understanding and feeling.
Correct.
The pain of aniyut is different. What you do with it afterwards and how you resolve the issue or how you deal with it, that's something else. That's tzedakah. Now we're talking about how impacted a person will be, yes, from the extreme feeling and pain of aniyut. To the point that the person doesn't think straight, right? It will sway his way from his own way and the way of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, meaning he's so tormented that he's not himself and he doesn't even know how to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Agdara. That's the Agdara. When a person is so tormented and such pain for someone or for himself, from his aniyut da'at, that torment, yes, save the person from Gehinam, from derech Gehinam, from Ge'ara. So the tzedakah that we learned earlier is a shmira in this world, right? It's a shield of protection for in a behavior here. And the dikdukei aniyut, the feeling, the experience of dikdukei aniyut is a shmira le'olam haba, is a shmira from Gehinam in olam haba. So they are complementary, and that's what you mean, right? They're complementary, meaning the more you develop that sensitivity and that burden to carry it, and obviously your tzedakah will be a completely different type of tzedakah, right? So that shield of protection becomes much more powerful and strong. The more your tzedakah is pure, and the more your tzedakah is emet, and the more your shield of protection is strong and emet and protective.
Is this coming to teach us that the highest level of tzedakah is to aniyim?
No, that's not. Well, no. This wouldn't say that. I'm not saying that's not it, but that's not. We have two things here. We have your approach and your engagement and your connection to the aniyut. You know, people are scared to think about aniyut. People are scared to relate to aniyut because they don't want to feel connected to that. They just don't want it. They understand it's there. They'll help, but they don't want to feel it. They don't want to feel it. And then you have those that get their hands dirty. They had their feet dirty. They go in it. They feel it. They live it. It's a different level. It's a completely different level. Be'ezrat Hashem. So, Siyata Dishmaya, we just finished Pasuk Chet, Perek Yud Gimel.
Zak Baruch.
Baruchim Tihiyu.
Beautiful.